guys, and welcome to this week's episode from Taff Rocks HQ. For this week I've got a little bit of extra information for you about casting your own rocks. You would have heard me say in previous videos recently that I'm running out of rocks and it's getting a bit dire, so I'm having to make my own due to being stuck in another lockdown. And as much as I love painting rocks, going out to buy rocks is not an essential journey for me. So I'm DIYing it, which is good. So this week I'm using this shape one. Now, before I go on to tell you what I've made that out of, if you could click subscribe and that little notification bell, I'd really appreciate that very much. If you've come here this week because of the video address on the back of this particular rock from this project, welcome. I hope you can stay. So in a previous project you have seen me make rocks out of a quickset concrete using cupcake molds, soap molds, whichever, and this week is no different. The mold that I've used for these I'll put a link to in the description box below. I don't have it at HQ with me at the moment because it's at home drying out after being used. So this is the shape as I just showed you earlier. Just an ordinary everyday soap mold made out of this stuff. Now, this stuff is not designed for outdoor stuff, okay? Which is why if you've come here using the little bit written on the back of the rock, if you can let us know what condition the rock is in when you found it, I'd really appreciate that. What I also did was place 3 rocks made out of this stuff in my garden in 3 different varieties of, I don't know, sealant or being painted or something like that. So I'm just going to shoot over to there now for you to have a look. So here are my 3 sample rocks which I've left out the garden for some time. This one has been out there since just before Christmas, this one a day or 2 later, and this one in between Christmas and New Year. This 4th rock is one that hasn't been anywhere. Now, as you can see and hear, this 4th rock has no issues at all. This one is what I'm going to call a naked rock. It went out the garden like this with nothing on, no lacquer, anything. What I'm going to try and do, if you bear with me just a second, I'm going to try and see that, yeah, right. I don't know how well this is looking, but you can see almost like a crocodile skin effect where the water and the weather has gotten to it, and it's not looking the best. This one was also a naked one, but it was lacquered. And you can see the difference straight away. So this had some protection, this had none whatsoever. This one was painted, it had a couple of coats. This side, obviously, as you can see, it says no lacquer. This side had lacquer, and there doesn't seem to be much difference. So the acrylic paint on the no lacquer side has stayed on, including the writing, and obviously full protection from the lacquer. It's just fine. So even though this stuff wasn't intended for outdoors, I have absolutely no idea how long they are going to last when they are outdoors. Okay, so as you saw, sometimes it's okay, sometimes it's not okay. The not okay one was this one, which went out with nothing on. And then of course we had the one that was sealed with just a spray lacquer. And then we had the half and half one. Now, as I might have mentioned, I don't know if the rocks that I've made out of this stuff is going to last. Normally for private projects I use this stuff, and I'll put a link to both of these in the description box below. But this stuff is ever so slightly more expensive than the stuff that I've used to make this. So rather than waffle on anymore, because no doubt I've bored you half to death already talking about plaster and goodness knows what, I'm just going to shoot straight off into the project, and then when I come back I'll blend you a bit more. Come on then. So the first way I'm going to try is a nice long one. You might be able to see some details that I've given myself here for guides. I'm going to start with the white. That's it so far. Now what I'm going to do is start up here, bring it down gently, kind of merge it into the next piece. Put an extra little line here. So far it doesn't look like anything. So what I'm going to do is take a green pen and put the top on. Now unfortunately, because I'm doing this on black paper with a white pen, I can't colour these in. But if you can imagine a negative, this would be your darker outline or your pencil outline. You'd now colour these bits in white. Okay, and then what that leaves us with is an opportunity to add the little stick, or if you want to, the big long one, and then of course your leaves. And then you'd colour those in. So there's your first type. The next one is going to be an open one, and again I'm going to start with a white pen, one leaf, or petal rather, second petal. Our third petal now is going to come down here, and believe it or not, that's it so far. What I'm going to do now is add the green bits, and because it's easier for me, I'm just going to turn this upside down. I'm going to put almost like a little love heart shaped green bit there. And then of course I'm going to add the other green bit here, and then again it lends us to bringing that down and throwing in some leaves, much like this one. Colour these in white. I mean, what you could do if you wanted is do a mixture of opened, unopened, and if you can imagine an in-between, then brilliant. Give that a go. So what I'm going to do now is use this and transfer it to our handcrafted rock. So here we are, ready to start. We're going to transfer these now onto here. And what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to do my outline in a black pen. You could do yours in pencil. What I'm also going to do with mine is add a little bit of an extra scene here. So I'm just going to get on with that before I start colouring it in. Everything I'm going to be doing in black pen, you guys can do in pencil. It's just I know that a black pen shows up better for you. Alrighty, well, the project turned out really good. I'm really pleased with this. Absolutely really pleased. On the back, as I mentioned before we started, I've got a little bit here. I never get this right. Bear with me. Right. So this means now that I'm going to share it out in the community. This little bit at the bottom here is where the URL for the video is going to go, or the address for where the video is going to go. And I'm hoping that people that find it will be able to tell me what condition it's in, either using the comments down below this video or over on our Taff Rocks group. That would be great, because then I can get a picture of it. So let's have a look at it before it starts its journey. Beautiful little simple snowdrops, and I love it. A few years ago I planted loads of snowdrops bulbs in my garden, and every year I forget where they are. So it's always a surprise when they come up and I think, oh, I thought they were over there. But no, so I'm eagerly awaiting the arrival of this year's snowdrops. And until then, I've got this. So this little bit here is supposed to be the snow, okay? This bit here is dirt or soil, and the rest because I wanted to make it a little bit more interesting. Now I hope you have a go at doing this, because as you saw from the paper part, have I still got that here? Oh yes. As you saw from the paper bit, they are quite simple, but they look amazing anyway. So give it a go, guys. Share a picture of it on our Facebook group. The address is here. And we'd love to see them. We'd love to see them out in the community being shared as well. If you've really enjoyed this week's video, guys, don't forget to like and share it with your friends. If you'd like to help the Taff Rocks YouTube channel out, you can sponsor us using any of the links below for our Patreon, Ko-fi, or purchase a gift for us from our Amazon wish list. So I guess until this time next week, my lovelies, I'm going to say ciao for now, and don't forget, keep on rocking.